Hey everybody, today I'm doing a different style video. I'm going to be talking about Prototype 2. Well, actually a possible Prototype 3 I meant. I was playing Prototype 2 earlier, and I was thinking of like all the things I'd like to see in a potential Prototype 3, and like story things and stuff like that. And I decided it'd be a good idea for like a new type of video, because I've been meaning to do like videos on my thoughts and stuff on specific subjects. So today I'll be talking about what I'd like to see in a potential Prototype 3. And since I own a copy of Prototype 1 and I have a copy of Prototype 2. Let me read the thing. It's Collector's Edition, Prototype 2 Collector's Edition. That is actually mine, but my dad lent it to me because he is like too into games, so he just got it and immediately lent it to me. And I only own the games on PS3 and I don't actually own it on PS4, so I can't record background gameplay of either of the games. So instead of putting in Bloodborne, because I still can't make up my mind on whether it or Prototype 2 is my favourite game of all time. They're basically just tied because I love both of them, and they're my first two platinums, and the other two games I platinumed were just games that were easy to platinum. And basically, my first platinum was Bloodborne, and my second platinum was Prototype 2, but originally I was planning to platinum Prototype 2 first, but I accidentally did a hard mode playthrough on the wrong user, so I ended up having to restart the hard mode playthrough, so that delayed me, and I ended up platinuming Bloodborne first. But if it weren't for Bloodborne, Prototype 2 would have been my first platinum. And the other two games were Minecraft Story Mode, which I only had a few trophies left because I played the share of it, and most of the trophies were just from different choices and stuff. And the NCIS game, which literally you get the platinum just by beating it. And so Bloodborne and Prototype 2 were the only platinums that like I really felt like I earned. But yeah, finally get on with the video. Backstory over now. So to start off, in a potential Prototype 3, for the player character, I'd personally love to see. I wouldn't want them to use Alex Mercer or Heller again, because then they'd have to come up with some sort of excuse for like why they depowered them. So I think it'd be a good idea to use a new protagonist. And I've seen a lot of people saying about Pariah, and I personally think that'd be a good idea too. If you don't know who Pariah is, basically he's mentioned in like some of the memory things in Prototype 1. Basically he's Elizabeth Green's mother. Not not her mother, her fucking son. And basically he's supposed to be like he's like the perfect specimen for the virus, and I'd love to see gameplay as him. And my idea for the story will be like heavily inspired by I forget whether it was White Light or Purposeless Rabbit Holes that came up with this, but basically I watched their video and I personally agree with a lot of the stuff, and so it'll be heavily influencing me, but I won't be copying it verbatim. So for the story, I'd love to see where like it would take place like a few years after the second game, but not too long after, like maybe 2012, something like that. The second game took place in 2009, I believe. And so basically it'd be like the virus like has been away for like a few years, and people basically like there's still a looming threat of it coming back, but people have generally like calmed down and stopped being paranoid about it and stuff. And basically like in that YouTuber's video, I still forget whether it was White Light or Purposeless Rabbit Holes, but whichever one of those two basically came up with the idea of having it be like showing like a lad going home, then like his family, like they're trying to fend him off, and then it turns out it's Pariah, and he had forgotten who he was, so basically he had assumed the form of another person, and basically he accidentally like transformed back into his normal self, and he didn't realise. And obviously like this would be presented like you would have no idea what was going on. You'd think like this family was just attacking their family member for no reason, and then basically like he runs off, and like his powers like just automatically activate like on instinct. Like he whips out claws like on instinct, and he has no idea what's going on. And then just like a brawler shows up, and that's the first fight of the game. And basically, it teaches you the combat controls and stuff like that. And then like I'd like to see it where like basically the brawler, its blood falls on a civilian, and then they get infected. And basically, then the virus starts spreading around the map. And I'd love to see a return of the system for Prototype 1, where like as you progress in the main story, the virus spreads more and more, and like bring back the military bases and infection hives and stuff. Also, a new mechanic I came up with would be, as well as brawlers and all of the other enemies from Prototype 2 returning, I'd also love to see hunters return. Maybe some like new variants based on the like Prototype 1 enemies. And I'd like to see it where like basically like it'd be different sides where basically I forgot to basically I'd have it so that I'm stuttering a lot. I'd basically have it so that Mercer also basically absorbs a bunch of Heller's powers and pops out of them basically. Like people have theorized for if they are to make a third one, and I personally would like to adapt that. Basically, I'd have him be like the villain, but also inadvertently from the blood spreading to the civilian, there'd also be Elizabeth Green's monsters. So basically, I'd like to have it so that there'd be like basically two different types of infections, where it'd be Mercer's virus and there'd be Green's virus, and basically like the enemies of both of those factions, as well as both hating the military, they'd also fight against each other for supremacy. And I'd love to see where like basically, since hunters and brawlers are basically the same, basically like a bit of variance with them, where I'd like hunters to attack more and be more agile and like dodge more, but they'd deal less damage, and then brawlers would like deal more damage, but they'd attack slightly slower, and they'd be like slightly less agile, and they wouldn't make as much of an effort to dodge, but they'd still be a formidable foe. And like I'd bring back all of the enemies from Prototype 2 for on Mercer's side, and then just like on Green's side, there'd be like some new enemies, like basically based on like stuff you'd probably see in Prototype 1. And also, something that I hated didn't happen in Prototype 2, and I'd like to see happen in this one, is to have the Hawks appear during normal free roam rather than just being exclusive to a campaign. And I was thinking like they could make like fucking like the Greens flying enemies could be like little infected dragon type things, like flying lizards, and basically like them and the Skyhawks would attack each other, and like it'd basically be like a four-sided war between Pariah, Mercer's infected, Green's infected, and the military. And basically I'd bring back Rook. I forget whether like I think his name was Rook, basically the leader of Blackwatch from the second game. I'd bring him back, and like once again taken from that YouTuber's video, I'd have it that basically he like puts basically all of New York into like lockdown, trying to contain the virus because he does not want it spreading again. And like throughout the game, I'd like to have like basically I'd like to have Pariah like sometimes team up with Heller, because obviously Heller would want to beat Mercer. And I think like by the end, like throughout the game, it'd show like Pariah starting to get like gradually being consumed by the power, and then by the end of the game, after he beats Mercer, he knows from Heller not to consume him, so he just like beats the shit out of him until he's absolutely mutilated, and then he gets so consumed by power that Heller decides to try and take him out. Basically, I'd frame it so it seems like Mercer is the final boss. Then it turns out Heller is actually the final boss, because Pariah is so consumed by like the power that he's basically like become like super greedy. Basically, like what happened to Mercer, except it'd still be the same person, unlike with Mercer where it's like a crow and not the real Mercer. Basically, I'd have it where after once you've beaten Heller, once again there'll be another twist where in the cutscene where Pariah basically does the same thing to Heller as he does to Mercer to avoid Heller doing the thing that Mercer did. Then out of nowhere, Mercer appears and fucking beats the shit out of him, kills him, and then it turns out it's actually like the Mercer that you play as in the first game, and basically he was like at the bottom of the ocean the whole time, regaining his power, and he never died in the first place. He was just wounded severely that took him a few years to regain his strength. And he's got like cool like ocean infected basically like minions, and basically then it just shows him like appear out of nowhere, kill Pariah, and then he kills all the other infected, like the other version of him's infected, and the Green's infected, and then he kills his own infected. Then he and then as he's in the process of killing his infected minions, one of them proceeds to rally all of the others to start fighting him, and then suddenly you're playing as him and you have to fight his infected who have sided on him. And then once you've beaten them, Rook shows up, and he basically like comes up in a tank and fucking blasts Mercer in the face. And since like he only just regained his strength, he's not very strong, so he ends up like being not obviously not wounded since he's still strong, but he is like knocked out by this. And then they capture him in a cage, and the credits roll, and then there's an after credits scene of vaguely showing Mercer escaping, basically implying it but like not being very clear about it. And this wasn't very cohesive. Like, I didn't give a full story, I just gave the beginning and the ending. But my main focus was the gameplay. Basically, I love the movement to be a lot like Prototype 2, and the powers to be a lot like Prototype 1, except I'd like to bring back the thing from Prototype 2 of being able to equip two powers at once. And I love an idea I came up with was basically be able to use the whip kind of like a slingshot, where basically you'd have to like grab onto buildings at like the perfect timing to get the best momentum, and you'd be able to go flying through the air. And like if you glide when you're in the middle of it, your glide will actually go faster, so that you can prolong your swinging, and like that would be a way of movement that you could do. But like it wouldn't be like Spider-Man swinging, it'd be like a fucking slingshot kinda. Basically like, and also the jumping would work like Prototype 2, where you hold it for as long as you want to keep going. And the powers, I'll bring back all of the ones for Prototype 2, Prototype 1, and the tendrils. And I'd like it basically with the with how like the combo powers worked in Prototype 2. Basically, you'd like have it that like one would be assigned to square and one would be assigned to triangle. I'd love to have it that like you can like chain together like it act like whatever number it is in the combo. So say like the third in a combo for the hammer fist would be to do spikes in the ground. Then like you could do 2 claw strikes and then switch to the and then do a hammer fist attack and do the spikes in the ground. And that could be like, so that's more cohesive. And like it's that there's custom controls, so basically like you can set anything to whatever button you want, and as long as they don't conflict with each other, you can set controls to the same button. So say you could set the dodge and vehicle to the same button, so they won't conflict with each other and shit like that. And yeah, this is like a very cohesive video. I don't really have a script for this, I'm just like talking out of what ideas I had earlier. But I think I might end the video here. It's a bit shorter of a video, but basically just like, even if you don't like, if you have any other ideas, or like think some of my ideas are bad or good, or like have any constructive criticism of my ideas, let me know in the comments. I know like you probably won't comment anyways, but just like if you want to, go ahead and comment. And either way, even if like no matter what, I'd still love Prototype 3, even though it probably won't happen because Radical, the company who made it, basically went defunct. But I'd love it if they were to make a Prototype 3. So yeah. Oh, and a quick side note, it was super hard to get the Prototype 2 soundtrack for the background music in this onto my PS4, because basically I had to I had it downloaded onto my PS3 from a CD from the collector's edition. Then I had to download it onto my USB stick. Then I had to turn on my computer, hook up my USB stick to it to put the thing in the right folder in the USB sticks that I'd be able to import into Share Factory. Now I had to import it into Share Factory. And also, did I mention on the PC I had to rename the songs because they were just set to track 1, track 2, and there's a problem with one of the songs was missing, so I had to rename all of them to fit what they were actually. And yeah, it was just a whole pain in the arse, but it was worth it because the Prototype 2 soundtrack is awesome and I wanted on-brand music. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a different style of video. Personally, I think I could have done it better, but like, I just recorded this very quickly since it's nearly my bedtime, and I just wanted to get my ideas out before I forgot about them. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this new style of video. If you liked this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Totally not begging for likes and subscribers, but make sure to like and subscribe. And have a good day, YouTube. Also, I plan to do another gameplay video soon. It's just like I've been forgetting to record them lately because the days have been feeling so fast lately. I've just been not really getting a chance, but there should be one soon. The plan of like regular uploads is kind of gone out the window, but I'll try again at some point to get regular uploads. So if you like the gameplay videos, just like stay here and eventually there'll be more. So don't worry if you enjoy my gameplay videos. If you do, I don't know how, but thank you and goodbye.